Okay YouTubers, the last video I mentioned I was going to make a sharpening video on a convex edge, so that's what we're going to do today. So the essentials you'll need for this, well, not the essentials, but you'll definitely need the 2000 grit wet and dry. You can either do it on a mouse mat, which gives it a bit of give, like that firm sponginess. I use a piece of old leather. It's just got enough give in it to get that edge right, and I just use a bit of well, that's a whetstone, just to give a bit of distance from the top. Just makes it easier to get around. So then you just need some tape. So if you take this down, there you go, that just keeps it nice and level. If you hear any noises outside, it's just raging a gale with blizzards at the moment in the UK, so tough luck. You're just going to have to put up with it. I'll show you a quick excerpt of me dropping my partner off earlier this morning. It's a bit mad. Okay, right, so we've got your 2000 wet and dry. We'll need a knife, obviously. Coffee's quite important. It's not essential, but I like to have a coffee. And some 3-in-1 oil. So if we can use them, that'd be great. So get the knife out. This is the knife I've got at the moment with a convex edge. So a convex edge is obviously, it's just round and comes to a point. Now, we can't use a whetstone because that just produces a flat edge. So we use this wet and dry on some leather, and how we start is by what we're aiming to do here is where the wet and dry finishes, it's supposed to come out on the point on the bevel here. So it's not, we're not rounding it off. We're just bringing it all to a nice point, and then it's already bringing it up. So we're not putting too much pressure on it. Just a little bit more than the weight of the knife. So I can feel that coming up already. So depending on how blunt you've allowed it to get, you may have just rolled the edge over. It might need a full sharpen, but if it needs a full sharpen you might have to go onto a higher grit paper. I'll just start with a 600 and see how that goes. So anyway, you carry on with that until you think you've got there, as much as that grit will give you anyway. And then So when you think you've you've got a nice fine edge on it. Bit of oil. Just smear it around a bit. That's why it's important to use old leather, because that'll probably soak through and it'll ruin your leather. You can't use it for anything else then. So again, five that way. I'll just keep on doing this until you're happy with your edge. But then again, I don't think these are difficult at all. I think it's just something that you either know, and it's just different than sharpening a standard knife. Okay, so when you've done that for a while, you'll start to get an edge on it. So that's getting quite nice now. So once you start polishing that edge up, your knife should be cutting pieces of paper, which obviously not waste our time cutting paper, but there's some. So that's quite a good edge. Just do a quick close-up of my sharpening. So you get in this angle. So as the knife exits, if you like, the edge exits the wet and dry, it wants to be on the point, on the edge, right on the edge as it leaves, and try and do that. Consistently if you can. And don't let it go too blunt if you can help it. If you do, it just means more work, but that's sharp enough for me. So, didn't take long at all. Good luck with your sharpening and stay safe. Bye bye.